Look at this drip. Look at this drip! Hello humans, and welcome to another episode of Gen X Gamer. You see why I tell you I don't want Arcade 1UP to leave? Because it's so much entertainment, guys. I see through my social media feeds now that everybody's talking about this lawsuit. Lawsuit against Arcade 1UP. All the entertainment. I'm telling you, they need to stick around just so YouTube and retro gaming can have something to talk about. Guys, I made some notes because I went and looked at what was being said on the internet and the articles that are up online right now and the different things that are being said on the lawsuit. Now, this I can tell you, I'm just going to put it in layman's terms. Before I begin, let me tell you, this is not legal advice of any kind. Not legal advice. This is not journalism of any kind. If you're looking for legal or journalistic professionalism on YouTube, you're an idiot. This is entertainment. So let's get with that, right? From what I can read, guys, and my interpretation, my layman's interpretation on this, is that the lawsuit is about branding. It's not about hardware. Number one, Coleco is basically saying that, Arcade 1UP is using their quote-unquote branding or name identity without permission, right? Which is quite curious because these companies that have a previous relationship, let's not forget that ColecoVision owns Burger Time, I believe. I'm pretty sure. ColecoVision, what do they want? Control and money. Right? As I read this is my interpretation. And let me tell you, the time that this is being released, or this lawsuit's being filed, tells me a lot. And again, this is just speculation. I don't know anything. I don't know anybody in the industry. But if I had to guess, is that this company said, wait a minute, before these guys cash in their chips, we want some of that. We want our dinero, what we feel that we are due because we helped this company maybe in some way. Guys, and this is not particular to this case, but sometimes companies make gentlemen's agreement, right? And I know that these companies have worked in the past. I haven't seen any successful product that they've made together, other than maybe the Burger Time, if they ever did that. I'm not completely sure how that went. But what I feel, right, if you ask me to guess what happened, I think this is what happened. Arcade 1UP says, yeah, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do the other. And it didn't materialize to the extent that ColecoVision hoped. And maybe they had some agreements on, just verbal type agreements that that's it, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. But once they're being sold, of course, those are no longer valid because the people are no longer there. They're not going to be there. Somebody else is going to own it. So what happens then? Right? What happens then? Well, what they're claiming their property is, as far as I can read, is this head-to-head stuff. Now, let me tell you, could that go to court? Could that, be battled in court? I think it would, I don't know how much money at this point Arcade 1UP has, not much. But if they did, they probably would argue in court, listen, you never made head-to-head arcade cabinets. As a matter of fact, head-to-head cabinets already existed with Pong. And I'm pretty sure Pong had head-to-head cabinets before, ColecoVision registered that, and their head-to-head was actually handhelds. So, I don't know, how well that is going to hold up in court. Again, I'm not a lawyer, I'm just speculating. But, if ColecoVision just wants to get paid before they are acquired, because if a company is going to acquire Arcade 1UP, they're going to want this settled unless they just take out, okay, all the, head-to-head arcade cabinets we're not going to buy. You can keep that. You keep the assets for that, or the proprietary rights to that, because then a sale becomes more complicated, right? If I'm the business analyst on the other side, now this is not legal, this is just business analysis, I'm looking at, well, this company is not worth as much as these without these cabinets, right? You're going to have to give me a discount because now I'm not going to have the tabletops, right? That would be probably an assumption you can make. And Coleco related products could be carved out. Now, again, guys, this is all about money. In the lawsuit, from what I read, it says they want, as far as relief, they want the products destroyed. Nobody's doing that. Nobody ever does that, because you could, a lot of times people settle and say, okay, look, we'll give you 20% of the sales. Whatever we sell, you help us market it. You'll get a straight commission, 30%, whatever you want, until we liquidate or something like that, or they could pay a fee or whatever. But clearly they want to get paid before Arcade 1-Up gets sold. What that's telling me is that whoever's buying them has substantial capital, right? A substantial capital to purchase them outright. And since that exists, ColecoVision now has, an incentive to go back to Arcade 1-Up and say, listen, you never did any of this stuff. We were cool. We didn't hit you up for any of this head-to-head stuff because, we were developing products together. But if you're going to sell the company and we never ever did these products that we claimed that we're going to do, then where's my cut? Where's my cut of all this stuff? Because you never offered me a nickel for using head-to-head, and you knew head-to-head was mine, right? I don't know that necessarily they're using the Coleco brand, but that head-to-head branding, I believe, is, from what I read, is the gist of the issue here. But more than anything, it's almost like a troll lawsuit, right? Where you're like, well, we know that you're going to have extra cash when you get sold. and it might be contingent, right? The sale might be contingent on Arcade 1-Up settling the lawsuit. So, whatever money they spent, $30,000, $50,000 just to put it out there, might be worth it to them, right? Because they could settle for another 100, 200,000, right? They're asking for $2 million per incident, which is, what people do probably all the time. I don't know. Again, I'm not a lawyer, right? But could they get $2 million all around? Why not? I don't know what they're going to ask, well, how much, when you do license out head-to-head, how much do you get, And they say, well, we only charge $50,000. Then why are you asking for $2 million, right? If you're going through mediation, which you probably would, through all that, those are the kind of things that you talk out along the way, right? If they're able to work it out. It would be my guess that this thing is going to get worked out before any sale happens. Because, the head-to-heads, arcades are, they're a niche market, but they sell a few, right? They're still there. They're popular with sections of the community because they don't expect it to be, it's not like you're playing Street Fighter on a head-to-head or anything like that. You're playing Miss Pac-Man or Galaga or something like that. So who knows, guys? This is all speculation. This is the reason why I love Arcade 1-Up, because there's always some kind of drama. Some video game related drama, right, around them. And, it's like the aura of this company just attracts all this, Is it the people working there? Is it the owners? Is it the way you do business? Because, companies usually don't have this. Look, thank the Lord they do have this, because, we have a lot to talk about. But it's like they're always in these business relationships where the other person that they're doing business with feels wrong. I think this has got to be like the third incident, right? We had some Atari stuff going on. We have this. We have the stuff with Glenn. It's always something with these guys. It's always something, right? That's what makes them so entertaining. Now that they're going to get sold, hopefully the brand will get sold to somebody who has more of a business acumen, more experience, knowing how to do things by the book. Those are all things that you wish for the company, because I think there is a market there, right? Before you start getting into heavy arcade equipment, you start off with something, and that's what Arcade 1-Up was able to do. They were that entry point for people to get into collecting real arcades. It's never going to be for me, guys, because I never have the room, right? 3/4 is probably all I'm ever going to do, or mini countertop machines or something like that. But a lot of people do get started on the hobby like that. They went from Arcade 1-Up to now to real arcades. And it's just part of the home arcade scene. Is it part of the real arcade scene? No, of course not. These are toys to entertain yourself with. But there is a market there, and I'm sure somebody is willing to pay some money for that brand. Who could that be? I don't know. But my guess, knowing that ColecoVision threw that lawsuit right on the 11th, before they were supposed to shut down on Friday, tells me a lot. There's a lot of money involved here. And ColecoVision wants their slice. All right, humans, if you enjoy this kind of content, let me know by subscribing. Oh yeah, hit that like button for me. And if you're really cool, join the channel for 99 cents. I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.
The Gen X Gamer channel is all about video games and game collecting, all for you. So make sure you like and subscribe. And if you feel extra special, join the channel for 99